You know, some love stories are these big, loud, epic tales. But others, they're pieced together from whispered words, half-forgotten memories, and these quiet moments you almost miss. Today, we're diving into one of those stories, a promise made in secret, a vow that's been echoing like the tide. So let's piece it all together.
Okay, so we're jumping right into the middle of things here with what is basically a fundamental truth in this community. This is Jaru's totally deadpan reaction after his and Pepe's attempt at a private ceremony gets crashed by their cousin, Sirach. And it just perfectly sums up their world, doesn't it? It's deeply romantic, but it's also hilariously, lovingly chaotic.
But underneath all that family craziness, there's this current running so much deeper. It's a story that has nothing to do with meddling cousins or big public parties. Nope, this one belongs to the moon and the sea. And that's the story we're here to unpack today.
So, our first section, A Love Interrupted. We're starting in the present day with Pepe and Jaru, whose beautiful love story is constantly getting interrupted by the very people who love them the most.
Their life is really just this collection of these beautiful, normal moments. You see them just lounging around in a sunlit room, teasing their cousin Saravara over snacks. Jaru will lean his head in Pepe's lap and call it his reward, and Saravara's right there complaining about watching their romance in 4K. It's a love that's so solid, it's become the warm, beating heart of their whole family, even when that family is driving them absolutely nuts.
And this is the line that kicks everything off. See, after their big ceremony was, well, really big, Pepe asks for something small, something sacred, something private, just the two of them and the thread that binds them. But the really interesting thing here is the question it brings up. Why is this quiet, personal vow so incredibly important to her? Well, the answer, as it turns out, has been waiting for them for years.
To find that answer, we've got to leave the bright, chaotic daylight behind and slip into the quiet of midnight. Because that's where secrets have a way of coming to the surface.
They think their story is the one they're living right now, you know? The shared snacks, the gentle teasing. But they're about to find out that their whole life together is built on this foundation they never even knew existed. Which brings us to the big question. How far back does their story really go?
Think of this as our map. We are about to leave the present day and journey way back to a promise that was only witnessed by the moon, a promise that one of them has completely forgotten.
So it all starts with Jaru, watching Pepe sleep. He whispers to her, "You gave me my first dream. Before I knew what love was, I knew your laugh." He's remembering this festival from when they were kids, seeing this little girl just spinning with joy under the lanterns. It's a memory he has held onto for his entire life.
And then, in this absolutely stunning moment of connection, Pepe stirs from her sleep, and she remembers it too. She remembers spinning, and she remembers a shy little boy holding out a lantern he made just for her. And as the memory just clicks into place, she realizes that boy, the one who gave her her first kiss under the lantern light, was him. And he just tells her, "It's always been me."
But this is where the story gets even deeper. Because look, a shared memory of a first kiss, that's beautiful. But that's not the secret. It's what happened right after the kiss, a moment Pepe completely forgot that really defined their entire future.
Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of it, a vow that wasn't made between two people, but between a boy and the sea itself, all on behalf of a girl who had no idea. So, as Jaru remembers it, after their kiss, young Pepe ran back to her cousins, but she turned around one last time and called out to him. Her voice was almost lost to the wind, but he heard this simple, heartfelt request. It was just a child's plea to the boy who was still watching from the shadows. She forgot she ever said it, but he never, ever could. And this was his answer. That night, young Jaru knelt down by the water's edge, and he whispered a vow to the sea goddess Lalale. Na Jaruwan le Sharasha. I vow to be her thread. It was a silent, sacred promise that he kept locked in his heart for years and years.
All right, Section 4, the shell's secret. A vow that powerful, well, it needs an anchor, right? A physical object to hold the weight of a promise like that. On his nightstand always was this tiny, polished shell. It wasn't just any shell. He picked it up that night at the festival, the night he first saw her dance, the night he made his vow. It was his physical connection to that promise. And this is the moment the past and the present just collide. Later that night, after they remember the kiss, Jaru finally hands her the shell, and as you see recognition dawn on her face, the memory of her own forgotten words coming back to her, he reveals the truth. His vow wasn't just inspired by her, it was a direct answer to her call.
Section 5, Sacred and Seen. Because a secret this profound, it can't stay hidden forever. Now, a very private promise is about to become a very public symbol.
Remember Pepe's wish for that quiet ceremony? Well, the irony is, she gets her wish, just not in the way she expected. The vow was already made, you see. The thread was already tied. And as the priestess Arreqqana tells them, the thread has named itself. It was always there, it just refuses to be silent anymore.
So the next morning, Pepe is wearing the shell as a pendant. The priestess comes up to her, touches it, and basically makes it official. With these words, she blesses the shell, transforming Jaru's secret childhood promise into a recognized, sacred bond. It is no longer just his secret, it's their story, for everyone to see.
Section 6. Braided and Vow. And so, we get to the end of their story, where two journeys, one that was remembered and one that was totally forgotten, finally emerge into a single path forward. They go back to that same stretch of coast, the place of first kisses and silent vows, and this moment isn't about making a new promise. It's about finally, fully understanding the one that's been protecting them all along. It's the quietest, most powerful ceremony they could have ever possibly asked for.
When Pepe worries that their secret is now out in the open, Jaru just reframes their entire story with this one incredible line. Their love was never small or quiet. It was a prayer, whispered to the sea, and the whole world was bound to hear the echo eventually.
And this is the blessing that settles over them, a final recognition of their whole journey. They have returned to each other, not just as lovers, but as two souls literally braided together by a vow that tide never forgot. Which kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How many of our own stories are anchored by promises we've long since forgotten?